Welcome everybody to Oceanside Library's Poetry Near and Afar. We have two wonderful poets here tonight with us. We have Brenda Bunting joining us from Maryland and J.R. Turek joining us here from Long Island. So without any further ado, I'm going to kick it off. And Brenda, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Tony. Thank you for having me. I look forward to sharing space with you for 20 minutes. So I have a few poems that I brought, and the poems that I'm going to be reading, it's okay if you're in the spotlight. My sister's with me and she's kind of pushing away. So the poems that I have, the first one is a poem where I talk a lot about how we are in love with the different variety of birds, but maybe not so much the different variety of human. And I think we do ourselves a disservice when we don't recognize that. So I shall begin with the birds. Flight messengers of creation fill grounded minds with inspiration to soar into blue painted skies, every whistling among the leaves, every crow caw and seagull squawk, every graceful extension of cranes, every flightless run of ostriches, every pink fire feather of flamingos, every neck dance of pigeons, every curious cooing of doves, every unique species of bird captures spectators rejoicing. The vulgar are blind to the diverse beautiful. They stumble in the darkness of their own seething, eaten up by the confusion of their own distortion. Souls taste the malice of their own flesh. They stumble through fields of indoctrination. These deserts stretch for miles and miles. The Black beauty lies in cursed fields of rage. Appreciation is nullified by talks of loathing. As white ascends to heights unnatural, they speak from spaces undeserving. A history detestable, women scream. From the anguish of their sentences, men stomp through crushing discontent. The budding empowered are smashed flat. But the poet's breath is a savage beauty, a healing fire that walks among the undead, with light burning through their souls to strengthen the weakened hearts of many. Peace touches our mouths, the divine adorns our lips. An epiphany of creative intelligence rushes through the ears of the listening like the tsunami, powerful in its comfort. The hater bearing ugly whispers in dark caverns, bitterly bearing teeth of a smile macabre. They wait to bury any light worker, walking in the power of their own renewal, resurrecting the voices of victims. Love prevails over violence with vision, filling even the hearts of the enemy with hope. The hands of truth are extending to all that need it. Beyond the meager offerings of man, there is God, a divine sacred that needs no introduction. Yet I threw away 300 poems in the shame of God, in my name and in times of my youth, cultivating in tiny creases of anguish, unfolding into blankets of despair, not knowing I was divinely inspired to pen with ink secrets of the Most High. We are given microscopic insights of glory that fills the most genius mind with awe. The starving intellectual partakes, those that have been running asking, where are the others? We are all here, a psychedelic trope of travelers, walking, sometimes crawling towards the ambrosia, who are also waiting, who are sometimes broken, who were sometimes shattered, who did not fall in the category, who moved beyond the established, who were regarded as the oddity, who was stamped undesirable, who defined the bounds of convention until a new personage was accepted. States of unity are driven by hands unseen, forging bridges where disrepair felled the crossing. Once again into one another's souls, we weep with relief hearing the orchestra, for some the first sound of human harmony, as this body anchors us in the gravity, to meld as one in the survival drama together. Our surface distinction, a superficial covering. We are species of the same meaning. Above the breathstroke of deception, there is such a great understanding, clear as the eagle's eye, essential as air. And I shall begin with a bird. Thank you. So, thank you. So this next piece, we have a lot of conflict, and I just think it's almost a poet's job. I think a poet's voice is sacred. I think we have a responsibility, and it's almost of a calling, and it's, if you're a poet, and which we are, it's strong on you, right? And you have to get it out, right? You fill up with it. And so I think it's very important that when we feel full, even if it comes out disjointed or whatever, sometimes it comes together in the most wonderful way. And so I didn't know how to process these conflicts that we're seeing on television, right? Because war is such a horrific thing, but it is beside quiz show and the news and reality TV programming and a comedy. It's a strange space for such a horror to be witnessed. And so I wrote this piece about the response to what's going on in Gaza with the Israelis and Hamas in the Holy Land. There has been nothing but of war, no sides rejoicing, even when battle victories are won. The Israeli dream became the Palestinian nightmare. In sleep, conjointly dying in a twisted destiny of self-determination, the Star of David flies in a shredded promise of Zion, as the Palestinian prays for the will of Allah. Both brothers in the family of human fighting for such a small space in the vast landscape. They target destruction for one another. Once declared the enemy, morality is traded for atrocity. The whole world ripples with the echo of their ferocity. As the bomb shock waves reduce order to chaos, none is left standing in the rubble. The soil has been grounded into a bloody mud of remembrance. Sands blow angry grains of death until the thrashing of the wounded cease. They are sinking into tunnels deep in the cavernous earth. They are sinking in the eyes of children who stare into the angering disquiet. They are sinking in hearts of believers with hands raised to the heavens. They are sinking in the falling buildings and mounds of ruins. They are sinking in the uncompromising intractability of the ancient landmarks that affect this modern world. Every humankind, whoever was, is still here. The countries may have changed, the culture and the names. The tribes may be known as towns, the civilizations as cities, and the empires as nations. But the Ottoman and the Ashkenazi, the Arab and the Israeli, the Muslim and the Jew are all still here. A microcosm, trembling in the knowledge of alteration. The life of the breath is the same, and so is the death. What has been done when all return to dust? You will never see a flower bloom on the war-torn ground of conflict. So kind of in keeping with that, thank you. I wrote this poem in my book. I have this book that I published some years ago, Poems of Love and Violence in Between Life and Death. The second edition is colorful, in color. And the first one is black and white. And I have new poems in this, and this is available for purchase on Amazon. But in this book, I wrote a poem years ago called Pandemonium. And it was in response to the fact that it seems like somewhere in the world there's war going on. And the war wagon lumbers on. It is wheels squishing blood. It is steel mangling limbs. Battle cry for victory. Iron carved into marked souls. What Achilles do they behold with blind eyes of greed, gorge feasting on lust, an insatiable need? And the war wagon lumbers on, foul stench proceeding, the horror of its meaning, as dead babies fall into bits to arms of screaming mothers. And what of sons and brothers who fight against each other? How shall love recover if both die in the end? And the war wagon lumbers on. We must stay the corrupt power, stand on hope and strength, ready to fight every hour against evil men's attempts. And what of civilians and casualties of war? They exist to the terrorists no more. Everyone will pay for society's sin, all to lose and none to win. And the war wagon lumbers on. Thank you. So now that I, drag y'all all the way down, I'm gonna try to bring it up a little bit. We're not gonna stay there. We're not gonna stay there. I took y'all some rough places. Thank you for going with me. So, this piece is called My Gratitude. I want to take you up a hill of orange fire and down to a yellow glow hidden under a rock of fall magnificence while you dream in story colors of brilliant hues until the mountain of burden moves off your chest and out your mind to clear spaces of truth. You have not suffered days of hunger. Longing has tricked you into believing your mind is a field of destitution until gratefulness floods every inch with a coat of soothing, and you remember times of abundance like a farmer's harvest. You are a star's wish away from falling, but not yet. There is a glimmering on the horizon of such coldness. No one rushes the future. The futility of prediction is a constant reconciling. Today, I am grateful to fold my hands in small thank yous, happy to be able to do so, for I have seen arthritic fingers struggle to clasp their hands together. They cannot, though they have tried. I see with my mind what my eyes behold, the recollections. Arms have held me from a small child until now. They have not let me go in the dark and the terror of pain alone. Voices rooted for me, close and unfamiliar. They celebrated my triumphs and carried me through the failures. I paced my steps, strides of appreciation for a gait that is not halted by time or disease or conditions of aching and stiffness. Yet I stiffen when the cacophony is a loud, long procession of grudge bearing. I must let the curses settle in my mouth until they drown and dissipate into a sea of forgetfulness. The water holds what it carries. What is this moment right now if it is not beautiful and precious, timely and expected? The trees are accepting of impoverishment. They strip down and open to heaven, only to be restored to the beat of small drums sounding gratitude against the anguished acrimony. So I think I might have time for one more. Let's see, I'll do one more. Let's see if I have something short.
You got plenty of time.
Oh, okay.
You have plenty of time.
Okay.
No, 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 no. Keep going. You're too good. Keep going.
Oh, thank you, Tony. Okay, so this is kind of funny because I have a friend who is an artist, talented, a wonderful poet, but she's also an amazing artist. And so I told her, I said, I've been thinking about a self-portrait. And I said, do you think you could teach me how to paint myself? And she said, oh, no, I don't do that kind of painting. And, she went through kind of like the different kind of painting and talked about that. And so it's so funny. I went to sleep and I woke up the next morning and it's like, your self-portrait is a poem. And I was like, oh, okay. Because I don't paint. I was like, where that came from. So this is called self-portrait. I will not fill my eyes with the madness of my life and walk in steps of anguish to the waking dawn. Although I am thin as eggshell, I have mighty goodness when cracked open. It pours out to comfort other souls. I was shown sacrificial, but would not embrace the lessons in silence, for I am a speaker, but this was not always so. I still remember the dreams of my childhood, I do, wrapped in a shy weaving that threaded through me like the ribbons in my ponytails, and I was whisper silent when mom loved on me. With back pats and gentle kisses, she cared for me with her eyes and her hands. She embraced me in hugs protective that quenched the longing of my soul. She was everything to me. I danced in a childhood of seasonal joy, flying kites in windy March and snow sled rides in cold Jersey winters. I was a delight of my big brother, and I followed his every lead unquestionably, jumping into big piles of leaves he raked in fall, playing kickball and a dozen other games in a rapid succession of bounty that spilled into the neighborhood and made so many smile. My sister was a goddess, I thought her so. Her beauty and temperament with a fly style made her every inch a sister. Her love for me was vast, and I crossed the breath to meet her. We rejoiced in one another. But there was another, and dark days came, with the underside of ugly that reached into my heart and choked it until despair grew like a tree. I understood the pain of believing you are worthless comes from a place of no recourse. When the language to describe what happened cannot formulate, when the expression does not exist, hope fades. And what is faith for the unanswered prayers of a child, morphing into a high-flying wild girl woman into a wilderness loss? In the far recesses of trauma gathered in places untouchable, I have been in the same place for a long time and tasted the bitterness of my own foolishness. I raged with fear and confusion for seasons long until I was ready, comforted mainly by the love of my children. I was duty bound and dumbfounded, yet inspired, terrified, yet enamored. Nothing stops with children, and their lives became my life, and everything became just a little bit better. They saved me in a way indescribable in one sense, and we crashed into one another in another sense. My appearing was always face forward. The reckoning of God fell to pieces as we splintered, shattered souls finding each a way to consider, the remnants to fortify against the insanity of excess that says, indulge, lest you look strange. The refrain garners isolation, an invisibility that is welcoming and mortifying. We have lost many things to find each other again. An increase of 2 children more, whose steps strengthen as mine fade. I am strong still, but no one lives in this physical realm forever. I have seen enlightenment. She carries a divine promise that has awakened belief in my eyes. I am balancing into beauty, rising up to the wisdom of age, such tiny threads of wonder start seeping in my eyes. All right, so let's see. I think I have one more. Okay, so this will be my last one. Here we go. There's a beautiful place in Wheaton, Maryland called Brookside Gardens, and I was just sitting there with a friend of mine, and so I hadn't been there for a long time, and this is kind of an imagined poem, but it actually felt very real to me. It's kind of where nature reached out and talked to me. My brother said, maybe you should call it the Glory Seekers. I said, so I'll use that for right now. Where have you been? They asked me. I have been to places far and wide, places where I cannot see or hear or smell the exquisite touch of nature. I have been bereft like a grieving widow in old clothes, slightly moldy, smelling of mothballs, and the black of hopelessness follows me even in sunshine. For miles of days I travel, bound by strange life we call civilization. But I am here now. I have returned like a lost heir to rejoice in the beauty that has been cultivated to magnificence. We are the glory seekers, relieving the suffering spirit to feel our beginnings. The waters restore all to wholeness. Even in their destruction, they cleanse like an old baptismal pool, waiting for the wanderers of redemption. There is an embracing in nature, an act of giving that calls return to the first state. So, thank you all.
Oh, absolutely wonderful. Let's you can unmute yourselves and give Brenda a nice round of applause.
Mhm.
I'm done.
All right.
Woohoo!
Thank you so much. All right. We're going to keep proceeding on. Again, if you do not wish to be in the open mic, please put that in the chat. And actually, everybody's been very good about not having any extraneous noises, or if you're doing something that's going to be distracting as far as keeping your camera on and your sound on. But I know the poets like to have the to have a response that they can hear. Sometimes this is wonderful, but sometimes the sound as well. So with that, without any further ado, one of my favorite people in the world and who's been a great friend to us here at the Oceanside Library and who has been a great friend to poets throughout the country and beyond, our very own J.R. Judy Turek.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Brenda. That was wonderful, wonderful. So I have an assortment of poems. I'm going to start with a Thanksgiving and I'm going to end with a Thanksgiving. I have to kind of read this one off my screen, but okay. Thanks for giving. After the table is set, chairs filled with love, after grace, after turkey and stuffing, after smiles and laughter, after pumpkin pie and chocolate cake, after hugs and kisses and holiday wishes, after the last glass is washed, the last crumb vacuumed up, I wish you a moment of tranquility, a breath to store the goodness into a thankful memory you embrace and tuck into your heart to renew often. Happy Thanksgiving. So I'm going to read a couple of poems from my new manuscript. It's called it's still in progress, but it's called 24 Shades of Purple. They are 24 poems written in an amazing 24-hour poetry marathon. There's a couple of participants here that were there, like Margaret and Tony, who actually had a good time with poetry. And so the theme in 24 Shades of Purple is Purple. Okay. Radiant Orchid. I found a new hair color, a metallic I hadn't tried before, and my first date with the color, I saw a picture posted of me sitting in the sun. A corona of radiant orchid waves haloed my head as if a spotlight shone down from above to capture this aura of ultraviolet entwined with lavender moon, hunky plum, and 24 shades of purple. A glow I fell head over tresses in love with. Adore this miracle galaxy of color and light. I order more of this sensation, this conditioning color that nourishes my hair, strengthens it, protects it, and I know it's the right thing. It's half off. I buy 3, and I am in orchid heaven. And that's a true story, so that's kind of cool. Okay. African violet. Compact, low growing, slow growing houseplant with thick, fuzzy leaves and clusters of petaled flowers that bloom several times a year. They can be persnickety if ignored. Love bright, diffused, warm conditions devoid of drafts, yet appreciate a soft breeze to keep them from being stuffy. They want to be watered regularly, but not too much that their roots rot, or too dry that their leaves shrivel. They will not wade in water. Do not get their leaves wet. Water from beneath or plant in a 2-stage pot that holds H2O below the plant. They will not flower if mistreated. Their blooms come in pinks, whites, and several shades of purple that add drama to your windowsill. Prepare to be their slave. When you compare their traits, they are much like a mother-in-law. Bossy, with needs and wants, pesky for you to jump through hoops, and even then, they may not perform. Get a silk plant. They look authentic, so lifelike. Your guests will never guess, and it can't fail to please. My mother-in-law has passed many years, so it's not necessarily her. And I should actually tell you, Radiant Orchid was hour 24. So I was at the end of my full day. This was hour 21. And so, and I actually have 2 show and tell poems, which is kind of cool. And so I don't know how you're going to actually, there you go. You can see that. So this is the source of this. And this is hour 13. Alexandrite. Old gold rose tone setting, scrolls and filigrees from shank to bezel, like hands hugging the gem. Large, deep faceted stone, vibrant purple in evening shade and bluish green in sunlight. I was told the stone was mined in Ecuador. Learned that stones are found not by design, but when mining other stones. Rare, 1 alexandrite found for every 100 emeralds. The first stone was found in Russia's Ural Mountains in 1830 on Prince Alexander II's birthday, later named for him. June's birthstone, precious keepsake believed to bring good fortune and love. I cherish this ring even more. A gift from a friend who had said he had a gift for me if I promised to wear it, and I did, and I do every day. A jeweler told me a stone of this size could be worth $10,000 or more. I gasped, but it doesn't matter. This stone, like found friends, kept safe both the gift and the giver, priceless to me. Okay. So this is show and tell. This is from hour 4. Vibrant Eyes. I ordered it online. A roll-on eyeshadow goes on smooth, creaseless, flawless, innovative, so pretty. Sparkly amethyst powder in a small glass bottle, orchid metallic band, faceted, jewel-esque, resting below the slender black cap. I look for the color. It must be something elegant, yet bold, wild, yet refined, as captivating and unique as the packaging. I turn it, twist it, flip it upside down, and there on the bottom, a label emblazoned with 80. 80. That's it. No exotic color name, just 80. Not as in the year I graduated high school, the year Rubik's Cube came out, and the year I earned a new nickname, Jack and Coke Pac-Man Girl, the same year John Lennon was shot and killed. 80. As in the year of my first newish car, as in the age my mother looked forward to but didn't make by 60 days. Not my percentage of correct Jeopardy questions, not when I worked 2 jobs to pay for my newest car. 80. So I decide to give it a suitable name, something ethereal, mystical, brazen, but authentic, colorific, radiant, irresistible. Think, ruminate, contemplate, cogitate, muse, meditate, ponder, deliberate, cerebrate, consider, stew. Yeah, nah, finally decide. 80 is perfect. And I love the behind the scenes in some poems because it's not really 80. It's 08, which would have made a really, really bad poem. So, hey, my muse, 80. Okay. This is the last of the purple poems. So, Barney. I love purple. Everything about purple. All shades of purple, but Barney, the purple dinosaur, is an atrocity I do not appreciate. Here are my top 10 reasons why. 1. Annoying songs that play over and over until you want to stuff your ears with wax, hot wax. 2. Marnie was on for 18 years, and that is just wrong, wrong, wrong. 3. Too much sugar for kids in the 90s. Someone finally woke up and pulled the sugar plum plug on Marnie. 4. A fat, purple, singing dinosaur. Really? Tell the truth. Did you ever watch it? 5. I love you, 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 I love you so many times that I changed the words to I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. Better, but not by much. 6. It's Barney, after all, not Sesame Street. Now that's a show with longevity. 7. A purple T-Rex that's an educational dancer that should be more than enough. 8. 150 ways to kill a dinosaur. Enough said. 9. Barney actor is a tantric sex specialist. Yikes. And true. 10. Any other color dinosaur, I could care less, but he wrecked Purple's reputation. I take that as a personal affront. I refuse to listen to rumors that they are resurrecting Barney. Get the garlic and the silver bullets, or at least lots of orange Target paint. That was hour 16. I think I really needed to get that out of my system, didn't I? Okay. This is today's poem. I somehow suspect there are going to be many like this, but this is today's. Safeguard. You slit a vein of ink, let words ooze onto paper, fill white space with purple prose, poetry, memoir, chick lit, chapters of meaning meant to entice your reader, lasso their heart. So take a minute and back it up, baby. Your heart beats so large it slits the binding of your new in progress book. Pages splay in random order, resort themselves into something better than before. So before it's too late, dear, back it up. Haiku leads to tanka, expands to sonnet, to tritina, to pantoum, flourishes to villanelle, blossoms to sestina, all from one new haiku. So catch them all, rescued, saved, and be sure to back it all up, hon. Drop it in the box. Preserve it, wrap it in a cloud, salvation from loss, SSD, HHD, SSHD, deposited, safe, keep it, caress it, give it a home, salvation from loss, from heartache, memory cards, USB, restored, RAID, captured, OneDrive, invested, SD, NAS, flash it, baby, shield, defend, moving forward, retrieve, edit, save again. Integrated, thumbs up, drive it hard, baby. Terabytes, internal, external, portability, protection, save on the go and go, sugar, sleep secure, going forward, knowing you backed it all up, dear. And when you're done, doll, do it again. Secure another storage space because two places are better than one. So back it up again, hon. Back it up again. The update to that is that my nearly 8,000 poems are now restored and retyped and all safe in 2 places. And so back up your stuff, folks. Back it up. How am I doing on time, Tony? Am I okay? Okay. So
You're doing fine.
cool. Okay. So I promised a few times, but I'm having a really tough time letting go. And so I'm trying to cut the umbilical, but I'm just going to give it just a little bit more. So I'm talking about dog speak. I'm talking about 24 poems written in a 24-hour poetry marathon in the voice of dogs. And I hope to, I'm actually supporting North Shore Animal League, which I just thought was our Long Island rescue organization. It turns out it's the world's largest no-kill shelter organization. And so I'm hoping to give them a nice, big, healthy check for Christmas. But until then, I'm giving it one last fundraising, reading. Oh, it's hard to let go. So, so actually we're going to play poetry roulette, and I'm going to ask Brenda to pick a number from 1 to 24.
24.
Yeah. Okay. So the book is called Dog Speak. Most of the poems in here are funny. So this is hour 24, a little on the tired side, but I knew it had to end, and I knew that was the metaphor. And so, serious speak. I know you don't like serious conversations, but we need to discuss something. It's important. I need to know that you will be okay when I have to leave. No, I don't know anything. You don't. I just have to be sure while I'm here that you will find a life without me. We've had fun together, laughed, cried, learned what we want and like, what makes us who we are, what keeps us together as a team, as family, as soulmates. So wait a little while and get another dog. You're not replacing me. You're taking on my spirit in a different breed and color and temperament. Don't think I'll make it easy for you. Training is important. Thanks. I'm glad we had this talk. Carry on. Okay, let's play. Can I throw the ball this time? All right, so that was a tough one. So Brenda, I'm going to ask you to pick one more number from 1 to 24.
17.
She picks all the hot spots, and I know for this one. And so, so this was our 17. This was the only poem in the whole collection that I actually thought about. Maybe not, and it's been the most popular number played in Poetry Roulette. So here we go, folks. Picking up poop. You say you spend half your life picking up poop, and I ask why you want it. You sing, picking up poop, bag on hand, back cracks when I stoop, picking up poop, scoot while I collect your poo. I ask again why you want it. I didn't want it, so why do you? You say, picking up poops, following behind my pooch poops, doesn't even say oops. Here I am spending my life picking up poops, but I love you, poo poo bear, so I collect your poo. Okay, so you like to sing, so I give you something to sing about. Picking up poopers, scooping bloopers left on the sidewalk where we all walk. I need a bag of bags, but I love you, trooper, so I spend my time filling a trash pail, picking up your poo. It's not like it's worth anything, right? I left it behind so you'd have something to do. Daddy doo-doo picking up my poo. No pooper scooper big enough to say how much I love you, but believe me when I tell you, I don't love picking up your poop. Thank you. Okay, and my last poem. Hopefully nobody will have this experience, but anyway. Thanksgiving dinner. Started out organized, got cute invites with talking turkeys. Come gobble with us. Bought back in September, but never sent them. So emails, text, phone messages to a limited number of family and friends. 3 days go by, no replies. Resend, rehope someone will come. Looking forward to hosting someone. Next day, one reply. Wish we'd known sooner, but Becky is cooking. Imagine Becky cooking. We'll miss you. Have fun. Next day, a tidal flood of replies. Yes, yes, thanks. Bringing mom and auntie, if that's okay. Bringing Uncle Jack and Grandpa Mel. I groan. Leering Jack and touchy-feely Grandpa. Who will I sit them next to? Yes, and yes, and yes. All but one said yes, but all but one bringing +1 and 2. We're out of chairs already. We rent some from the funeral parlor. I laugh at the metaphor of a gloomy gathering. Thanksgiving morning, get Tom in the oven early, peeling carrots and potatoes when the phone rings. Guess what? Becky couldn't get a turkey. So we're coming after all. We're so happy, and we're 6. Including Marty the puppy. I told Becky you'd love to meet him, all 100 pounds of him. We bring in beach chairs, set up a folding table, move furniture to make it work, but it doesn't. I have to climb over the recliner to get through to the dining room, rearrange place cards. I put leery and touchy-feely at the card table and hope they don't scare the kids. More potatoes, more carrots, hope the turkey is big enough, check on it, and fall on the floor near hysterics. Oven never turned on. Actually, I never turned on the oven. I crank it up. Hope that'll work. Realize my panic that no one offered to bring anything. Send hubby to get another pumpkin pie, though I hate pumpkin pie. And 2 other I don't care desserts. He leaps at the chance to get away. 3 p.m. No one is here. The turkey is crisp on the outside, still raw on the inside. Turn it down, let it cook. Carrots still hard as oak logs left wet. Sigh, stuffing never got into the turkey. Forgot about cranberry sauce. Open another bottle of wine. Wonder where the other one went. Doorbell rings. All 18 guests are there, arguing already, all holding pumpkin pies. Marty dashing in through the crowd, barking. Grandpa Mel is fondling a bottle of wine. I usher them in, grab my purse and the wine, close the door behind me, singing Happy Thanksgiving, and meet Paul at the diner for a quiet holiday dinner. Thank you all, and happy Thanksgiving.
Absolutely wonderful. All right, once again, I'm going to ask everybody to unmute yourselves. Give Judy a nice big round. Yeah.
Woohoo! Judy!
Yes.
Yay.
That was fun. Thank you.
Okay. All right, so now we're going to start our open mic again. As I said, one non-epic length poem, please. And we're going to start with Mark and Alyssa. You're on deck.
All right, thank you, Tony, and thank you, Brenda and Judy. Great features. This morning, we share this bottle of water, some for you, some for your shelfmate. The rest I swallow in communion. This gathering in a corner of an office with a view open to pavement and sky. I touch your freshest green leaf, accepting the vitality and life. This willing hand of pavement cracked open to greet the sky and receive its vitamins, its droplets of blood that make me more like it. We share this time in solitude, where sky cracks open its mysteries, and we, the children, pick walnuts from broken shell. Together we grow in spirit, in wisdom. Where last night I communed with poems, pouring anger into funnel, bottling without spilling, the causes of battles whose only point in fighting would be to win them, and then carrying bottle to toilet and upending. But this morning, this human exits cares of world of pavement and sky. This special moment is ours.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you, Mark. Alyssa, you're up, and Carol, you're on deck.
Hi, so I realized that my name for some reason is coming up under my daughter's name. My name is
Okay.
actually Jennifer.
Hi, Jennifer.
Hello. But it's kind of fitting because the poem that I'm reading tonight is written in the voice of my daughter. She has Down syndrome. I am divorced from her father, and unfortunately, he was not okay with the fact that she had Down syndrome and only really paid attention or cared when he thought that other people were watching. So this was kind of what I wrote in her voice in response to that. It's called Trophy. I sit on the shelf, patiently waiting for my turn. I smile with excitement as you grab hold of me, cradling me in your arms delicately, like a fragile piece of glass. Suddenly, realizing no one is watching, You toss me back like an old rag doll. I watch you come and go, hoping, wishing for you to pay attention to me. Look at me, acknowledge me. Instead, I begin to collect dust. My shine becomes dull as I watch you go about your life, laughing with others, paying attention to others. Every so often, when there is a crowd you have deemed to be a reasonable size, you take me down, clean me up, and show me off. Until then, I sit on the shelf, patiently waiting for my turn. Thank you guys for having me, and JR and Brenda, you guys did awesome sets. Very glad to hear it.
Thank you very much. Thanks so much for coming out. Appreciate it. All right, Carol, let's see. Let me stop the spotlight. Okay, so Carol, you're up, and Marvin, you're on deck.
You have two Carols, so I want to see who you're going to spotlight.
Okay, I do have two Carols. All right, so we're going to Carol you because you got your you have your camera on. So it's
Okay.
you.
Thank you. Okay, I decided to resurrect something that I wrote after last Thanksgiving, and hopefully there'll be no repetition of it. COVID, oh COVID, please set me free. I'm never in person, just a virtual attendee. Countless outings I have declined, ways to avoid crowds I always did find. At that time, okay, 2 shots and 3 boosters injected in my arm. This was to keep me safe from harm. I've gotten more boosters since. When out, I wear an N95 mask. Washing hands constantly is a necessary task. Thanksgiving had me filled with glee. I would be together with my entire family, both my children and spouses and 4 grandchildren too. Times we are together are all too few. Some foods were ordered, and my son was the host, many specialties and sweet potatoes to roast. We waited in a long line and then delivered the food when a terrible phone call changed our mood. A lady we'd been with for just the day before brought COVID with her through our door. She was originally fine. No symptoms did appear until the next day, and the test made it clear. Positive reading changed our plan. We could no longer gather with the rest of our clan. They sent happy pictures full of holiday cheer. They told us how they wished we were here. My son packed up assortments of food that they ate. My daughter and her family delivered the plate. They put it on the stoop and they walked a distance away. We spoke for a while, but knew they can't stay. Phone calls and pictures are our company too. My grandson and his wife did a lovely drive-through. The holiday is over and we're still feeling fine. We cannot test. There's a 5-day incubation time. On Monday, we will know if we beat this threat. Another test Tuesday, and then we'll be set. 2 negative tests are what we require to resume our lives, is what we desire. My wish for you all is now very clear. Stay healthy, and you will have good reason to cheer. Happy Thanksgiving. And here again, Thanksgiving is coming, and we're keeping our fingers crossed that all stay healthy.
Excellent.
And in the meantime, my poor grandson has had COVID. He had it when he was 5 months old, and he's okay now, but he'd been in the hospital for several days on oxygen. So
Oh, geez.
we got to be very, very careful.
Sure,
So,
sure. Well, thank you so
all.
much.
And all the readings before this were absolutely wonderful. I enjoyed them.
Great,
Thank
thank you.
Okay.
All right, Marvin, you're up, and the other Carol is on deck.
The title of the poem is Games. In backyard games, he made like Ruth, stroking the ball over the neighbor's roof, hurling it with all the verve of Koufax breaking off the curve, sliding into a cardboard base, powerfully and yet with grace. In backyard games, he was the boss, but in other fields, he was a loss. blundering on every play, fumbling my heart away, kicking dreams right out the door. A Yankee or a Met, no more. I once had been the biggest fan of this mere flash in the pan, broadcasting to other guys. What now I see were only lies that my son would prove to be a Hall of Famer. Wait, you'll see. But that was just before the game. And now I see it's not the same as when we played, the two of us, and I had made such a great fuss over what had been a toy, a fake. Wiffle ball, for God's sake, is not the same as real hardball. And so with him I took a fall that bruised and scraped more than a shin, that cut deep down below the skin. A hurt that never has gone away, a pain that aches right to this day. I should have listened to my wife, who said I should not ruin his life by making him turn out to be another one, another me.
Thank you very much, Marvin.
That was great.
Jack already leave? Okay. All right. Other Carol, you're up, and Christine, you're on deck.
Okay, can I unfortunately I didn't hear the directions because I was driving home while listening to you. Can I just read anything that I've written?
Yeah, as long as it's not epic, as long as it's not epic length.
No, it is not. I've had something happen to me in the last 7 weeks, and it sparked this particular poem.
Okay.
You left me this morning on this cold and dismal day, a drizzly sort of day, when the world was gray and still, having lost its pallor. I stood by your bedside, staring down at your body, the machines now unplugged, the stark silence breaking my heart, pulverizing it into fragments. I stroked your cold hand, the hand of a poet, which wrote so freely in verse, the hand that held a flute whose lilting melodies drifted through the air, the hand that always came home bearing gifts for me. And I whispered to your now deaf ears how much I loved being with you on this brief journey of ours. I left the room only to linger and look back one last time, and walked out onto the shiny street streaked with rain.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay. All right, Christine, you're up, and Maggie, you're on deck. Gotta unmute yourself, Christine.
Here we go. Okay. Thank you, Brenda and JR, for those terrific readings tonight. And thanks, Tony, for putting this all together for us. It's called The Drive. No one says a word through the tunnel. I try to pick up thoughts that scatter and make words someone wants to hear, not just moonshine, but ice slivers from my mind and filter into my stomach, while black dots scroll across my eyes. Our passenger's breath parts the hair on my neck as traffic lights fracture the mist that leads us to the street, to the gate he must walk through to find his way back. We let him out at the house where a cardboard symbol of a triangle within a circle float outside the doorway. It's held up by a breeze that doesn't move a hair across my face. He walks away, sneakers scuffing the sidewalk, too loud and intrusive for this early time of day. The door opens and he disappears. Maybe I imagined his breath, but not the marble statues that I thought I saw through the fence in Calvary Cemetery. They were flashes of angels and cherubs smiling as they slow danced when the car rocked along the LIE toward the tunnel. Now, The shroud of the sun creeps up over the Bowery as we drive home, with the windows rolled up, the icy air diminished, the black dots slowed to a crawl. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. All right. So Maggie, you're up, and Margaret, you're on deck. Okay, you have to unmute yourself, Maggie. There you go.
Brian,
Okay, you're up.
responding. Okay, crowds, not going to concerts, spending as little time as possible at grocery stores, doctor's offices, junking.
I'm sorry, you're really breaking up, Maggie. It's
You can't hear me?
we're hearing every other word, which makes for an interesting poem, but not I don't think what you're trying to do. Let's try it again.
Chewing on bones?
Sure.
Did you hear that?
That I heard.
Did you hear it?
I heard chewing on bones.
Okay. Lately, I've been avoiding crowds, not going to concerts, spending as little time as possible at grocery stores, doctor's offices, junking. Then I get the invitation letter to my high school reunion at a local community center sent by the 1961 homecoming queen, catered chicken dinner. Like family reunions, these events involve digging up old bones. Sentences start with, "Do you remember what's her face?" End with, "Where's what's his name?" With a mouthful of boneless chicken, recognize the full-grown man kid none had ever seen at a reunion. 60 years showing, taller than I remember. On stage, junior year, in front of an audience of hundreds, we kissed. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, Margaret, you're up, and Phil, you're on deck. Is Phil still here? Hang on a sec. Yep, still here. Okay, so Margaret, you're up.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you, JR and Brenda. Wonderful reading. I'm going to read today from a New York anthology I had the privilege of being in called The Arcade of Scribes, which is by the Rogue Scholars Press. This is called Real in Response. Like air, you'll miss them when they're gone. Orson Welles. A beautiful contradiction is what he called you. After posting a reel on Instagram, you and Tommy filled my phone screen. Smile as I watch. Months of silence every day, wondering how your family survives. I thank you, brother Chris, sharing this glimpse inside your lives, a reel like a snow globe shaken. I hit replay and watch it over and over. He says you were a spark to his engine, doesn't know how to live without your force. Says you were good and kind to the bitter end, your death more complicated than cliche. You were anything we could or would expect to fully uncover. Most days I want to. Your credits still roll in his heart and mind every day, he says. Thanked me for my heart. After all he survived, I'm grateful towards his.
Wonderful. Thank you. All right. Okay, Phil, you're up, and Robert Rubino, you're on deck.
Can you hear me?
Sure can. Where are you
Hey, thank-
calling from? Where are you
Having
calling from?
Time.
Where are you?
I asked before if people could see me, and I was
Oh, yeah,
told.
no. We could
Yes.
see you. I'm wondering where in the United States are you?
Oh, thank you. I'm sorry. I'm in Texas.
Okay, wonderful. All right, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. I'm having a wonderful time. I love Brenda. I love Judy.
Yeah.
Trophy. The Shroud of the Sun. I'm just writing some of my notes up.
Yeah.
The last ladies, I wanted to hear more about the kiss. I'm having a wonderful time. Thank you. I'm going to read a poem called Love. Alone while her babes are asleep, the battered voice within her speaks. I'm glad night has finally dawned. The day stood tall much too long. At last, the sun has stopped staring and the birds have ceased their song. My secret the full moon will not share. My bruises, silent night will cover. At last I may lay bare and spill my tears from the assault of another.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you so much, and thank you for joining us. It's wonderful to have you.
Thank you.
Hey, Robert, you're up, and let me make sure she's still here. Yeah. Julian, you're on deck.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Brenda and Judy, for those wonderful features. 75 going on 76. Aware that 3 of your 4 grandparents didn't make it to the age you are now, and the 4th, in her final years, existed as brain alive but stuck in a stroke-froze body, peering out at a withheld, withdrawn world, with eyes desperate for mercies, tender or otherwise. And although your mother and father made it to 87 and 93, their quality of life began to sustain cumulative losses, beginning not that many years after the age you are now, as if each's dignity was targeted by a hardcore crew of thieves. 75, going on 76, aware that your lifelong friend from grade school, smart and cool and kind, ahead of his time, who became a Joycean scholar at Fordham University, no less. He died at 70. And the former newspaper colleague, the age you are now, clever and curious, pro-union feminist wordsmith, well, she stepped off a Bodega Bay cliff right after instructing a passing hiker to call 911. 75, going on 76, pleasantly surprised how lucky you are to have love in your life, friendships and marriage and supportive siblings and communities of fellow writers. And now deep into your 11th year of retirement, more creative, more relaxed than ever, and sober 24/7. Pleasantly surprised by the relative good health that allows for daily yoga and frequent coastal hikes. Unpleasantly unsurprised that this relative good health doesn't preclude required check-ins with scary-sounding specialists previously never given a thought, and whose neutral textbook realism often seems like either overdressed optimism or naked pessimism. 76, going on 77. Stay tuned. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Robert. Okay. Julian's up, and Diane, you're on deck. And Julian wants to share his screen, so I gave you the power to do that, so there you go.
Hi, thank you. Lost a friend from dementia recently and cancer. This is called Bad Day. Today I offer my shoulder as a well to contain all your tears. When you all cried out, let me be the underground river that floats all your burdens away. When your heart sinks lower than it ever has, let me free dive on a single breath. Follow its air bubbles to the bottom to retrieve it. When the sadness pours inside you like a drowning wave, let me conjure up a pea green boat, a sailor's boat off to sea. Today is a bad day. No owl, no pussycat. All I can offer are these paltry, made-up metaphors strung together as hasty, temporary band-aid. Frosty comfort amid frustrating pain. I know, also you know. Today will pass. Knowing doesn't make it any easier. We've had enough bad days to know better, and all these no's and knowing and not knowing never adds up to a single yes. Blessed are the mothers and fathers. Blessed are the sacrificial caregivers. Blessed are those who have no other options. Blessed are those who endure lengthening bad days. Blessed are those who never see the light of a good day, only rare moments, fewer and farther between. I pray our day will come. It's just round the next bend, my friend. Past the well of tears, over the river of burdens, above the sea of sunken hearts. Just one sail away on this ocean of sadness, where one day, one bright night soon, we'll play owl and the pussycat again, go hand in hand on the edge of the sand and dance by the light of the moon, and dance by the light of the heavenly moon. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Julian. Thank you so much. All right. Diane, you're up, and Ronald, you're on deck, and I don't think anybody else is left. And if I have missed you, please make sure you grab me. But Diane, welcome. Haven't seen you in a while. Thank you so much. Always a pleasure to see you.
Thank you, Tony. I want to say that Brenda's and Judy's feature spotlight was super, was amazing,
Yep.
and I absolutely enjoyed it. Julian just pulled my heartstrings because my mother had dementia. She's no longer with us. But tonight, because of Thanksgiving, I am going to read a poem entitled Grateful. I am grateful for each tiny prayer circling my throat, pushing its way out, shepherding the wild horses that gallop and graze inside my dreams. For every deep breath that I take, a candle of hope is lit inside me. So I keep going, even when the birds are silent in November. Like squirrels, I bury their songs for the winter, and now I rise like the birds of June singing. I am grateful for the rise of the sun, the aging of these bones that gathers enough grace to get up, to get going, to get on with seed, time, and harvest. These God hours, I plant, I plow, I pray, I pen, I paint, I pour, I pluck, I pause. I praise the seconds, the minutes, the hours, the days, the weeks, the years, to just be able to smell the morning, to taste the chilled air, to touch autumn's footprint. My heart is pulled at its stem. I am grateful to witness this kind of beauty, rare, deep in the tissue where a million hearts beat, spinning the earth in me. The sound of my granddaughter's voice repairs the broken wings, the torn pages, the orphaned shadows that follow. I no longer feel the fractures. Her laughter reaches in and paints the inside of me in shades of autumn, golden golds, fluorescent oranges, bruised reds. I am grateful. When she holds my hand, I see a blue sky over the field of my dreams with an endless silver lining. I have allowed her to disturb the silence, the whispering, the bed of leaves that quiets the landscape here. She is my candle of hope. For every deep breath I take, she returns with the sun, with love and peace and joy and hope and gratitude. I am grateful.
Wonderful. Oh, thank you so much.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you
Thank
so
you.
much. Oh, that's great.
Oh.
All right. Ronald, you're up, and then we have somebody else that's going to join us. So, and I just lost his name, but I know he's joining us with Maggie. So, but right now, Ronald, you're up. Where is Ronald? Did I lose Ronald? I lost Ronald. Look at that. All right, Maggie, back to you. I think you said it was Dennis?
No, hi, Tony. This is Jerry. I'm out here.
Oh,
in
Jerry, I'm
Iowa.
sorry.
So, the one I have tonight is titled Consolation. No thanks, she said when I offered. So we sat at the bar, a solitary stool apart, alone together, for an hour or more as the Chiefs lost again. Is the offer still open? Yes, as I caught the bartender's eye. We talked and drank until last call. I mostly listened. It was kind of you to let me go on, she said. I had to get it out. Now you'll understand that I need to go. We raised the last round to another time and said goodbye.
All right, thank you so much. All right, well, a wonderful evening, everybody. I want to thank you all so much. We have our December schedule is set. I will be sending out invites for January through May, probably in the next couple of weeks. But I want to thank you all once again. I wanted another round of applause, if we can, for Brenda and for Judy. Absolutely wonderful. And I thank you all for coming out. And I wish each and every one of you and yours a wonderful and happy and glorious Thanksgiving. And we look forward to seeing you after the holiday. Good
Happy
night.
Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving,
Happy
everybody.
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving,
Bye.
everyone. Be safe.